Westmoreland County Wrestling Kickoff Show. I'm joined by head coach of Kiski area, Coach Chris Heater. Coach, how are you?
I'm good this morning. How are you?
I couldn't be any better. Love being back and involved in the wrestling community. And Coach, you've never left. You've been with Kiski now this will be your 30th year and the 6th year as the head coach, if I'm not mistaken. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
What do you feel has been the best part of your coaching journey over the years?
I really appreciate the school that I've been able to coach for, and I know a lot of guys kind of move around over their time, especially if they've coached for 30 years like I have. That they've had to kind of move around and go to different schools and stuff, and still love the sport. I feel that I've been very fortunate that I've been able to coach this long at the school that I work for, and kids that I teach that I also get to coach. So I really kind of believe that's I feel very lucky and blessed to have been able to do that.
And something that's really special, I think, about the wrestling community is that when you're in your family, and I constantly reiterate that because I feel that's what it's done for me. And before I came on this interview with you, my father did say, he said, Chris is such a great guy. He's been so dedicated to Kiski. So what can you say about the people that you meet being involved in wrestling? It's sort of like once you're there, you're kind of stuck. So how have your relationships grown through wrestling over the years?
It is funny because when you were texting me this morning, I even said to my wife, I said, I think this is Mark's daughter, and you used to be a manager and stuff, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So that's what I said. I've been in this sport long enough that I've met a lot of coaches. I'm also coaching kids of fathers that I coached, and I don't feel like I'm that old, but like when that stuff starts to happen and I get interviewed by somebody that I remember when you were in high school and that kind of thing. So it's like, the relationships are great. It is, the wrestling community is a very tight group of people. Especially, I feel that we've really been, kind of in a good place with Westmoreland County and stuff. There's so many good guys. There's so many good coaches. There's such great wrestling here. Our county tournament is just insane. The quality of wrestlers that have been there every year that we get to coach and that we get to coach against and kind of follow through their high school career as well as into college. And there's been so much success from Pennsylvania kids in college. But not only that, but when you look at rankings, over the last couple of years in college, and there's 10 weights and 5 of them are not only from Pennsylvania or Western Pennsylvania, but they're from our section. So not only is it a close-knit group amongst coaches and stuff, it's just great to really have that with the wrestlers, even though, they might be from other teams. And it's nice to kind of see them, kind of go to college and do well, and that I can kind of coach. I can root for them instead of like trying to coach against them. So you do get to a point where it's nice, but boy, the relationships over the years just really kind of are a huge part of kind of who I am at this point as a coach. So
I love that. I couldn't agree more. And it's like you were saying, back when I was in high school, what I would see was guys from the section tournament, they became, your state champs. And there was like 7 or 8 guys that were your state champs that we were like, they're not just from our county, they're from our section. So it was always really impressive to see things evolve. But speaking just of that, you've been involved with Kiski Wrestling for so long. How have you seen this program evolve into what it is today? The transitions that you guys have gone through, what's that been like?
It's been very interesting. We've certainly had our ups and downs, and I'm sure most people think we've had more ups than downs. We have had a small group of people involved in running our program. In the 30 years that I've been there, Coach Tursky and I have coached together all of those years except this year. He has stepped down this year. He's not coaching for the first time, which a lot of people don't realize. But the consistency there in our program. So for 30 years, the kind of the two faces of our varsity program has been his and mine. And, I've been, very thankful to have learned and coached with him and somebody that I'm really good friends with. Our junior high, in the 30 years that I've been there, has only had two coaches. My elementary program has only been run by two people in 30 years. I mean, those are the things that have allowed the success that we've had to happen, because everybody continues to come back. Everybody's on the same page. But, Coach really kind of started his vision a long time ago. And, being that I coach with him for so long, we've kind of, our philosophies and our vision of our program and stuff are pretty much the same. Obviously I have a little bit of a different personality, and there's things that I like that maybe he didn't like, but, we've found a great way to kind of mesh our two coaching styles together. And, when he decided to step down, 6 years ago now, this will be my 6th year, as you mentioned, as the head coach, and he stayed on as an assistant because he didn't want to do the responsibility thing anymore. He just wanted to coach. So I'm very thankful that we could do that. But it's just the consistency has just what's let us have more ups and downs than downs in our program. And we're living through some right now and stuff, especially with all the COVID stuff going on. Over the past few years, we've had a lot of great wrestlers graduate and kind of exit our program. I think currently we have 11 or 12 guys in Division I wrestling right now, which really speaks volumes to our about our program and kind of what we've been able to do and how fortunate of the types of wrestlers that we've been able to have. But I've certainly over 30 years seen a lot of changes, mostly good in our program. So.
And one of those guys, it's really funny you mentioned some at the Division I level. I had the opportunity to speak with Joey Bloomer before this interview. He's such a great guy, such a fun personality, but the amount of respect he has for the way the Kiski wrestling program built him into transitioning into Penn State wrestling is unbelievable. I mean, to hear the way that these athletes speak about Kiski is something really special. And he said that what's really important to him is he wrestled for a team that actually cared about team results and not just individual results. And when you think about Kiski wrestling, at least from my experience, you think of a team that's always been really dominant. You've always had some guys, you've had state champs, but you've had those average guys win the big matches for you. And that's what's really made your team so special over the years. So how important is it for you to focus in and make sure these kids are in that mindset that this is about the team and not just individual, despite what some people may think about wrestling?
Well, it's great. And it's nice to hear Joey has some nice things to say about us. And we've been fortunate. We've been lucky to send Joey and Matt McCutcheon both to Penn State and being Penn State, being at the top of college wrestling. And both of those guys have been thankful to us for feeling like they were very well prepared when they went to Penn State. And that lets us know that we're doing a lot of the right things. But, I love the fact that we've been able to have this many guys, kind of move on and show the love of the sport and kind of wrestle. But it's really nice to hear that Joey kind of had some nice things to say about our program. Did I completely answer your question or?
Yeah, I think we got it. The fact that you guys just have so many individual people who are always meshing together and moving on. You've had so much success. You even hinted to it earlier, saying it starts with the JO programs and further up, but transitioning into the team outlook this year. You had success last year, not so much on the team level, but there were still individual guys that were sent to states and were place winners. So what can we expect to see from the Kiski wrestling team this year?
Well, we are kind of working through some, like I mentioned, some graduations and that team thing is very important to us. And that is always kind of the thing that we go after first. I mean, it's the first part of the season. It's the biggest part of the season. I think if you're going to have success with your individuals, I think, they need to be, we talked about in the beginning about the family that the coaching organization has and stuff. I think it's important that if you get a close group of kids and they all work for each other as a team, then when it comes time to those guys being able to focus on themselves and go after their individual goals, and we've kind of been criticized over that for the years and stuff, because you do so well as a team, and then individually you have like a couple of medal winners, or you have guys that end up opting out of wrestling, individuals, and they were such good team guys. And so as far as the look of what we have this year, we have several returning guys. We have some upper level guys. Enzo Merlaki's back. Sammy Starr's back. Braden Ruskowski, Carter Diltz, who wrestled a lot last year at 220 in heavyweight for us. He's returning up at 215. Stone Joseph, our heavyweight, got hurt at Powerade last year, but was one of the top heavyweights in the WPIL. He was also ranked in the state. We have Ryan Klingensmith down in the lighter weights and stuff, who won a lot of matches for us last year. So we have six really experienced guys coming back to our team this year. We have some good kids, some experienced kids coming off of our junior high. They're going to fill in some of our places. Those guys, and it's kind of every year is how good can the junior high kids be? It's how quickly can they transition to the level of wrestling that we're doing. Typically with our schedule, can kind of show the success of the team if those guys can kind of really kind of adjust to the level as quick as possible. And then we have a lot of newcomers to our lineup this year. Something that's different for our program. I have 3 girls on my team this year. I've never had. We've had girls in our elementary program and our junior high team, but I have a sophomore, a junior, and a senior girl on our team this year, and they've been wrestling in girl competitions, but they've never committed to hey, I want to be on the boys team, and that comes with a lot of I admire their courage. It's a difficult thing. The girls' sport is growing tremendously every day. Obviously everything's slowed down right now with COVID and stuff, but I mean, I'm happy to have those 3 girls. The sophomore was in the state finals last year for junior high girls states. We have the senior is 2 years ago won the state title in junior high for girls states and stuff. So they can wrestle. It's certainly a different and unique experience. So here I am with 30 years of coaching experience, and I'm getting the experience of starting to work and coach with girls for the first time. And that's something that's definitely different for us, and will give us a different look this year a little bit, simply because, as I mentioned, we've never really had that. So the look of our team this year will be a little bit different, and, hopefully it'll be a good experience when we can get on the mat. So
listen, so much has been changing this year from the pandemic. You are just a team that's always valued tradition so much. So I have no doubt that the Kiski wrestling team will persevere through all this, but girl power, and shout out to those young ladies for coming on the wrestling team and you welcoming them as well, because like you said, women's wrestling is a growing sport. So, hey guys in Westmoreland County, watch out. The girls are taking over the mat, and I'm really excited to see the transition into the Kiski wrestling team. But Coach, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming and talking to me. I love talking about wrestling. Excited to see what more we have in store for the Westmoreland Sports Network Kickoff show, but ultimately, best of luck to you.
Anna, thanks for having me. Please tell Chris and George, and Dan, all those guys that you work with, that I appreciate it. I know there's such a tremendous effort that gets put into the show each year. And it's great for Westmoreland wrestling. It's great for wrestling in general. I know a ton of work goes into it on a normal year, so I can't even imagine what you guys had to do to go through and set things up for today. But thank you guys for your passion for wrestling and getting everybody together and still being able to do this show today. So thank you.
Absolutely. That means so much coming from you. Thank you so much, Coach. And like he said, we have so much more in store. It's been a difficult year, but nonetheless, we are here to provide you all the wonderful wrestling content. So the Westmoreland County Wrestling Kickoff Show will continue shortly.